welcome back to my channel. In this week's video I'm showing you how to make this super simple two-piece skirt and sweater set. It's very beginner friendly, there is basically no hemming, just some zigzag seams and a very simple construction. I bought this fabric online and it's basically a store where you can buy fabric to make stuff for babies, but there's no babies in my life and I'm the baby. So I made this for me with baby fabric. I think it's for like blankets. I'll link it below, but it's in Switzerland, I think. So if you're there, you should definitely get it. If you want to know how to recreate this, just keep on watching. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so I grabbed a pencil skirt that I already have. This is just, for rough measurements. You don't really need this. But it's good if you have some sort of stretchy skirt to go off of. And I measured how long I wanted it to be and I just extended it. As you can see, I'm generously cutting and I'm simply pinning it right sides together so I can sew it and then try it on for the first time. I actually stopped sewing a little bit before I got to the bottom of the skirt to make some slits to have more mobility. I did use a straight stitch here, but that was a mistake. I would suggest using a zigzag or even an overlock, but I'm actually not overlocking this because I wasn't sure if it will fit properly already. And I actually didn't end up overlocking it. As you can see here, I am trying it on for the first time and it is quite a bit too big around the waist. Actually, my legs are fine, but then I'm actually just putting it on inside out so I can pin it directly while wearing it. And so I will have the perfect fit in the end. And I take it off and I mark the curve a little bit straighter with my pins and I just go over it. I even slimmed it all the way down, just a little. And then I'm just gonna cut off the excess. And then I cut out a waistband, the right size for my elastic to fit through. And then I sewed the elastic also right sides together so it will make a loop. Then I actually tried on the skirt again to see how much I have to cut off of the top. I do this by wearing the elastic because that gives me a really good feel for where it will sit and like how it's gonna be comfortable after. And this is what I go off of. I just cut where I pinned. I then fold the waistband and I pin it right sides together on the outside of the skirt. I had to stretch it a little bit because it was a little bit smaller than the skirt, but that's perfectly fine because this is going to be the stretched part of your skirt anyway. I then sewed it on with a zigzag stitch, leaving a gap about the size of the elastic so I can thread it in later. And as you can see, I kept checking to make sure it would be the perfect size for my elastic because I did have quite a bit of seam allowance. Then I am going to thread the elastic through the channel of my waistband. I do this by putting a big safety pin at the end and just wiggling it through. And when it comes out at the other end, I safety pin it together and like shush it around a bit so I can try it on and mark the size of the elastic. Actually, my mom did that for me. That's why she's walking away. Yeah, and then you just overlap the elastic, sew it together. This doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you use a zigzag stitch. Then I pinned back together the hole that was left and sewed over that as well. And for a last step, I actually hemmed the sides, the openings of my like side leg slits. You do that by simply starting at one side on the inside of your skirt, going up, then turning it 90 degrees, making a little short line, and then going back all the way down. Onto the top. I had a little bit of struggle here because I didn't have enough fabric left so that the ribbing could go vertically, so I ended up placing the top on there horizontally, and that worked out perfectly. And I just placed a top on it that had a seam on the shoulder all the way down the sleeve and up the sides all the way down to the arm. As you can see, you can also just do this with a top you already have and simply make a nice curve under the underarm. I think this is called like bat sleeves. You can do this as extreme or as not extreme as you want to. I did cut out a little bit of a neck, but I knew that I would change that later anyway. So first thing you're gonna do, place it right sides together and sew all of the arms and side seams. I also used a zigzag stitch for this, and I tried not to stretch it as much as possible so there wouldn't be any puckering of the seams. Then I flipped it inside out and tried it on. First thing I noticed, the neck hole was way too small, so I'm definitely gonna make that go lower and also a little bit wider on the shoulders. I also wanted the sleeves to be a little tighter, which I'm just gonna do on the underarm seam. So here is me cutting out the neck hole. I do this by folding it in half. I first cut out the entire neck hole and then only the front side of the neck hole. Is it called neck hole? The neckline. Yeah, and I just placed it on top so it will be symmetrical on both sides. And for the arm, I also pinned one little pin in when I was wearing it, and then I just gradually marked it with pins. After sewing, I simply cut off the excess seam allowance that arose when I sewed, and yeah, I also shortened the sleeves. I mean, I didn't shorten them, I basically just made them nice and straight. For the ends of my seams, I actually went over every seam again with a zigzag stitch, sewing a little bit back and forth so it wouldn't open, because I actually didn't even hem any of this. So here it is as an ensemble. Of course, you can wear this alone. The skirt isn't very thick, so I think I could wear this like in spring, summer even. The combo with the sweater just makes it look kind of elevated, kind of elegant, but it still literally feels like pajamas. Yeah, let me know if you recreate it. Let me know how it goes. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like. See you next time. Bye!